This is part of one of Jay's Facebook Lives, where I asked him, how can I be more clear about my business? He really schooled me. Keep watching to find out what he taught me and what you can learn about being clear too.
Oh, that's a good question. This will help a lot of people, actually. The way you're more clear on anything is by exposure to it. So if you took somebody who had no exposure to the dance world, they didn't know names of steps, they didn't know names of studios, they didn't know costumes, they didn't know even music or beats. Maybe they were deaf most of their life and they finally regained their hearing or whatever. Took someone who had no exposure to the dance world. Could they sit down and visualize a great dance empire? What is the problem? Why do they not know all like the steps and stuff? What's the issue? Exactly. Like I said in the beginning, exposure. Just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. And so then if you take someone, maybe like a toddler or a worker or manual laborer or something, and they've never had exposure to the business world, can they visualize a giant business empire? Why? Because they don't have exposure to it. And so now we get to you, right? We come to you. Why can you not visualize your giant business empire? Yes, so if we agree that exposure is the key ingredient here to be able to visualize anything, dance empire, business empire, basketball empire, like you need to be immersed in that world, right? So are you immersed in the business world? And if you're not immersed in the dance world, or the business world, or the basketball world, how can you become immersed in it quickly? The person who's never had the dance step, hasn't even heard music, what's the best way, the easiest way, quickest way for them to get exposure to that world? Yes, so dance classes are a great way to get exposure. But they're not the only way to get exposure. Is there one they could do from behind their keyboard? Goes on YouTube, etc. Yes, exactly. You're ahead of me. So have you gone on business empire channels? Have you like looked at the nuts and bolts of a working business? Have you YouTubed any of this stuff, right? Like, you gotta be honest. If you're having trouble visualizing something, the main reason is you haven't had exposure to it. And if you haven't had exposure to it, you gotta be honest with yourself. Why not? Why have I not had exposure to this? Have you read The $100 Startup by Chris Gilbo? Have you watched all of Gary Vee's tips and tricks? Have you searched Evan's YouTube? Have you Googled other great dance empires? Have you Googled other great motivational speaking empires or coaching empires? Like, have you Googled any of this stuff? If you haven't even typed it in, then you're like the newly undeaf person who's like, oh, I don't know how to dance. Like, they're not seeking out any exposure. And so, of course, you can't visualize, and it's kind of on you. Because you'll immerse yourself on other topics, like you'll learn league, or you'll learn cooking, or you'll immerse yourself in body transformation, or bimboization, or whatever is important to you, and exciting for you, and interesting for you. But is business not interesting and not exciting and not important? Like, it really comes down to exposure, and that exposure is your personal responsibility. No, I haven't gone on YouTube to look any of this stuff up. I honestly don't even know what to search for. But see, that's like what I've been meaning to statement, right? I don't know what to search for. You're a full-grown woman, and you don't know what to search for. Like, I know Gary Vee and Evan backwards and forwards, but I feel like there's something else I'm not seeing, knowing. I don't even know Evan and Gary backwards and forwards. They're both better business people than I am. Are you saying that you've studied them more than I have? You honestly think you've paid more attention with more focus and spent more hours watching motivational speakers than I have since I was a teenager? I've failed 12, 13 businesses, which is, I don't know if that's a good thing. I've learned a lot. Probably not, but I have watched their content. Sure. But is exposure, so let's picture our newly undeaf person. Let's say they listen to a lot of dance music, but they never took the class, right? They got on YouTube, they got started, and they've listened to a lot of dance music. And then when they try to dance, they fail, they stumble, it doesn't work out. And someone says to them, are you sure you've gotten into dance enough? Like, have you studied enough or whatever? And they'll say, well, I've watched and listened to tons of dance videos. That's their answer. I know the dance channel backwards and forwards. What do you think about this newly undeaf person becoming a dance prodigy, dance superstar? Gonna happen? Why not? To visualize what you want in a dance empire, you kind of have to be dancing, yeah? to visualize what you want in a basketball empire, you kind of have to be basketballing, yeah? And to visualize what you want in a selling empire, like a sales empire, what do you kind of have to be doing? It starts with an S. Selling. Exactly. And that could be door-to-door sales. That could be joint venture sales. That could be email list sales. That could be free sample trial sales. There's tons of different sales. How much exposure do you have to sales, and how much selling are you doing, right? It's like, how much dancing are you doing? How much working out are you doing? How much basketball are you doing? And if the answer is like, almost none, of course you can't visualize anything. So step one is exposure to this world. Yes, not enough, clearly. So Lisa says, yes, they can watch, but you have to be up and moving your ass, same in business. You have to be doing advertising, selling, searching. Yes, these are the things of a business, right? So in dance, what are the important ingredients of dance? Like, you have to be two-stepping, rhythming, mirror working, right? These are all the dance things. Partnering, following, leading. These are all like the dance things, right? And so you have to be doing all the business things. And so what are all the bits and pieces of business things? Lisa got a lot of them. Searching, selling, advertising, outreach, and marketing, these kind of things. And almost everybody gets caught up in the content creation part of things. But right now on the planet, there are tons of content creators who are buried and ignored and poor. They will make nothing. They will probably die poor. Van Gogh died poor and like unknown, and now his stuff's worth millions and billions and stuff because his content was amazing. His content was amazing. But guess what he didn't do? I often think of myself as a Van Gogh because I'm kind of similar. Like, I'm super talented and my genius is next level and my value is off the charts. And someday people are going to look back and be like, this dude had freaking fire answers. He could help anybody with anything instantly. Like, what the hell? This is next level shit. He was better than Tony, Gary, all of them. 5 people know me in a Facebook group right now. You know, cut my ear off, died poor, but eventually I'll have a big legacy. Is this how I want my life to go? No. But guess what I need to be doing? The bits and pieces of business, the dancing, the email lists, the payment funnels, the traffic funnels, the eyeballs, the marketing, the searching, the bits and pieces of business. I need to know them all and be good at them. Just like if I want to be good at League, I need to know the trading and the back timings and the gold buyings and the items. I love learning them because it makes me better. Or if I want to be good at editing, I have to know cuts and J cuts and L cuts and sound cuts and overlays. And like, I need to know all the bits and pieces. I have to be exposed to these things. And it's not bad. It's not painful. It's not scary. You just go take a class, right? You just go get into it. You start or dance in your home. Like, just practice something on your own in front of a mirror. But you kind of have to be doing the things, the bits and pieces of the things. And if you can start on YouTube, like we agreed. But if you've already done that and you're already like, oh, I've watched all the YouTube, then guess what? Guess what? Yes, there you go. He didn't advertise and show his value. Exactly right, Lisa. He did not. And I need to advertise and show my value too. Go, Van Gogh. And I could say I've been meaning to, like, I'm aware. But we wrote a book, Lisa. We didn't have enough eyeballs and I did a shit job selling it. Yeah, selling is the issue. So you can just admit, like, my 2-step sucked or my mirror work was bad. And so my dance did not succeed. Nobody was impressed. You could try again. You could do the mirror work this time better, do the selling better, do the 2-step better, and people will be impressed. This is why I'm here asking this. I have to get more clear so I can sell better. Where is it? Show me. See, this is an opportunity to make a sale. Lisa may want to buy it. She may get a lot of joy and value out of it, or it may not be for her, or she may refer it to someone else who it's a better fit for, or it could be a perfect fit. All of Jay's wisdom in one book, and like, I can just browse it at my leisure, and it's beautiful, and it looks great on my coffee table, and it's like, I could brag about this. It's like one of Van Gogh's early masterpieces, and I'm already getting it in early. Like, it could be the perfect fit for her, but it depends. Like, how do you handle this sales opportunity? Do you do it well? Do you do it poorly? Do you annoy the potential client or customer, or do you provide value to them and they feel great about the sale? Send you the link later. Right, but if you sent it here now, wouldn't all the people in the replay see it? And wouldn't everyone be able to get it? So I can get eyes and sales. So there's different ways of approaching it. Sometimes a personal sale is good. Let's do it off stream. It's not spammy. It's not throwing in everybody's face. It's more personal. On Reddit, this works really well. Let me PM you. But on a Facebook Live, maybe just sharing the link is better. I don't know if we had a bit.ly link for it or whatever, but I believe it was soar.evancarmichael.com/book. Want more wisdom like this? Please click subscribe and the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. Are you doing it? Are you getting exposure to it? And not just video exposure or like reading exposure, but doing it. Like, are you doing the bits and pieces of business? And you have to admit to yourself how well you're doing them, how often you're doing them, how much you're doing them, how immersed you are in them, how good you're getting at them. Are you better than other people at them? Do you want to be better than other people at them? Just like if you were dancing, are you better with the moves? Are you more on point? Are you more graceful? Are you better than the rest of the class? Or are you average? Or are you worse? But even average is good. Like, even an average business can be profitable. Like, or are you abysmal at it? Like, how much exposure to this do you need, and how into it do you need to get? Like, with learning a new game or a new recipe, like how many times do you need to cook this dish, right? If it's biryani, some crazy Indian dish you've never done before, you might need to fail that dish like 3-4 times. And you can't be waiting like once a year to fail it. You need to fail it this week and next week and next week and next week. If you really want to learn it fast, you make it twice in a day. Like, you make it for breakfast, it up, and make it again for dinner, right? That's how you get real good, real fast. And anyone can do this, and it can be fun. It's not miserable to make biryani in the morning and then make biryani again at dinner. As long as you have the ingredients and you feel good about how you're using your time, it's fun. And you can do the same thing with sales, right? You failed selling this book before, you could tackle it again right now. Or you could try selling something different, like selling the Facebook group, or you could sell shirts. And you failed selling shirts, just admit it, get back on the saddle, and like, you gotta immerse yourself in it and nail these dance steps. Is this making sense? Like, is this the answer that resonates with you? Is this the tough love you need? Or am I missing something? Does it not feel right? Right? Because I can be off base too, I can be wrong. I'm doing the bits and pieces, but I feel like my outreach can be way better. Yeah, and so outreach is one of the main steps, right? So dribbling in basketball is kind of like the outreach. You could have all the trick shots in the world and be sinking free throws, but the bread and butter of basketball, what is it? Dribbling. And if you ever talk to a pro basketball player, they will tell you dribbling is so insanely important, like the most important fundamental. And every time you think you have it perfect, you don't have it perfect. And there's way better things you could do with the dribbling. And there's smaller height and higher height, and to the side and off to the side and around the back, like whatever. There's so many things. And so like outreach is the dribbling, right? And so even if you've dribbled once or you've done outreach once, like it's not going to be enough. You need to get great at it. Or in league, like CSing. CSing is where you get gold, is where you get money, is where you get items, it's how you get way stronger than the other guy, you get more experience, everything. Forcing them to not get CS is good too. So there's so much finesse to this. And even when, like, I've been playing League forever, I think I'm great at CSing, but guess what? Someone can teach me a million things about it. When these pros, like, it looks like I'm so good at it, but I'm just above average. I could be way better at it, and I know it. And if I want to, I have to go learn, or get a coach, or take a class, or start immersing myself and learning all the tricks. Or if I want to dribble better, I have to go find a way. It's out there. It's on Google. Everything you want is on Google. The coach is on Google. The answers are on Google. The tips are on Google. Or YouTube, same thing. And if you want to be better at business, I have to find a coach. I have to take a class. I have to go practice. I have to go research. I have to go outreach. I have to go, or even DIY, but I still have to get into it and practice it. And nothing, it's not even just the Googling. I have to learn something, and then I have to go practice it in the practice tool, or on the arena, or in the rehearsal studio. And for business, you have to practice the outreach, practice the selling. If you really envision a giant business empire, are you going to have it without being good at this dribbling? And if I really envision being a great basketball player, will I have it without dribbling? If I really envision being a great dancer, a truly great dancer, will I really do it without mirror working? I'm just never going to the studio and mirror working. Yes, it makes sense. And yes, I do need this. I have to be better. Yeah, it's a good, like, I can tell you're determined or committed, but it's more about like that's like me saying I have to dribble better. But then if someone asks me, do I have dribble time scheduled in the gym? That's like, no, I don't. I have a little bit scheduled. When you're really serious about stuff, you cancel stuff for other things. Usually anytime you're canceling something for something else, it's a very good sign. Well, or a bad sign. It's a sign that something's important to you. So if you cancel the party for sleep, it means sleep is important to you. If you cancel a festive dinner for outreach practice, it's a sign that outreach is important to you, right? Michael Jordan cancels stuff for basketball practice. Evan Carmichael cancels stuff for business. So it's one thing to be like, I have to be better at this, or I'm putting this in my schedule. But another thing you can ask yourself is how often you've canceled for something. A lot of people cancel for their relationship because the relationship is very important to them. So that's awesome. Nothing wrong with that. That's wonderful. But it shows where your priorities lie, right? And so those people usually get a good relationship because it's a very important thing to them. Or they're canceled for their kids. My mom would cancel her work, skip her work to raise us, to teach us a lesson, to come discipline us. I don't think it was fun for her, or maybe it was, but it was important. But most parents won't cancel their work for their kids. It's the opposite. Their work is more important to them. And what do they end up with? Do they end up as superstar parents, or do they end up as corporate bigwigs? Sure, they move up in their job or something. I've canceled stuff to make or finish videos. Yes, and now we're back on the content creation part, right? Van Gogh. Van Gogh canceled everything to make art. Well, I don't know. I didn't know personally, but it's a safe bet. You know what I mean? And so that's great. That means content creation is important to you. Content creation is only one aspect of business. That's like free throws, right? And so you will be the best free thrower. And we're super proud of that. Everyone's proud of that. Like, my content is amazing. My content is polished. I'm good at what I do. I'm a genius at what I do. But am I going to have a giant empire as being the best free thrower? Because that's what I'm at. That's what I am right now. Do I wake up on my days and do outreach? No. I make a video game prototype, or I play a video game. What the hell kind of outreach is that? But then I deserve whatever I get, right? That's consequences. Rambled off on this topic here. It's simpler than I made it out to be. I guess, I've said too much about this, really. It just boils down to one simple thing. If you can't visualize something, it's because you haven't had exposure to it. If you haven't had exposure to it, it's because you haven't immersed yourself in it. And that's all your responsibility. And it's fun to immerse yourself in stuff you want to learn. Like make biryani morning and night. Cancel stuff in order to make more of it. But if you are resistant to that or don't want to do that, maybe a business empire isn't for you. But if you do want to do that, then you need to have a belief ladder about how fun it is to get out there and move your ass. Like how fun it is to outreach, to practice it, to learn it. How fun it is to get better than others in the class. How fun it is to cancel stuff for outreach. Or maybe you turn your parties into outreach. Like most people go to a party, you're there like hustling. But it's really that simple. Are you doing the bits and pieces better than the rest of the class? Or are you avoiding the class entirely? I do want to do this. I love what I'm doing. Yeah, there's the dribbling in your schedule, and have you canceled stuff for it? Because Gary Vee, Evan, Tony Robbins, they all cancel stuff to get better than the rest of the class. Like, is Lisa canceling stuff for her business or for her belief ladders, which she found important, or is she delaying them? And like I said, it's no judgment, right? It's whatever you want to do in life. Totally. Everyone has their own life path. I delayed stuff forever, so I can't say anything. But you really got to admit where you're at and admit, are you Jordan level canceling? Like, are you diving in and immersing and like getting better than the rest of the class at this thing, or are you not? And if you're not, why not? Because we always have a reason why, right? It could be it's just not important to me. I don't really see my life going this way. Actually, I want to go a different path. Actually, this doesn't suit me at all. I prefer just being a worker. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a worker, right? Like, you could be a cameraman at a dance studio and never be the dancer and never have the dance empire. You just film a dance empire. Well, I decided to make a full day every other day for this because I want to be better at this, because it's important to me. Yes, so it's in your schedule. So it's good. Have you ever canceled anything for it? You see how it keeps coming back to that? Have you ever canceled anything for this dribbling, this outreach? Have you ever once said, nope, cannot do that. I got to get better at outreach and I need to be the best in the class? Well, I am today. It's a good start. How does it feel? Bad or good? Does it feel like you're prioritizing dribbling and you're going to step up and crush it? Or does it feel like I bullied you into canceling out with all my rambling? We were just talking about the nuts and bolts of business and prioritizing them, prioritizing outreach, prioritizing eyeballs and exposure and marketing, prioritizing getting the word out and not staying hidden in a closet or buried under a bushel, and how much that practice or being in that game or trying those sales or failing those leads or doing whatever helps you. Like how much action helps you. And we'll see you next Friday. I'm psyched. Get out there and crush the week.